What up, Brandy? What's good with you? What's good with you? I'm flabbergasted. Jasmar, famous for the Jasmar podcast. I'm so shocked. So, yo, any discrepancies as far as the James podcast? Not really. Nah, no. He just forgot to mention I came from Rhode Island. Um, Originally I came from Rhode Island, and he was always trying to hook up with me, and I used to tell my grandma, this boy always trying to hook up with me, and well, uh, she just said if I like him, then give him the play, you know how they mostly talk amongst your community. Feels racist. But yeah, I gave him the play, and at the time I didn't regret it, and for a while. So how bad did the abuse get? You know what I mean? I mean, just jumping into it. Oh, you're like, fuck the good times. Word. Fuck the good times. Tell me about getting your ass beat. Well, anyway, the abuse was pretty bad. Pretty bad, but I stayed, just being optimistic. I've always been an optimistic girl, and believing things would get better. He would get better. I thought that he was in a bad situation, and he didn't have nobody else to let it out on. So I decided to be his punching bag. And it's sad. It's really sad, you know. And I'm a motivational speaker now because of it, but I could have been became a motivational speaker, the first time he had me. Because the first time he had me, I should have knew it was a problem, but I didn't. Um, Not that I'm slow or anything. It's just that I didn't want to believe, it was that bad. I was blinded by love. And the term goes, love is blind. That's my jam. Shout out to Eve. That term is real because it's blind. You believe that things are going to get better, and a hit upside the head doesn't get better. It turns to a knot. A knot turns to a lump. A lump turns to I'm in the hospital. Oh shit. And I hope that answers your question. Still to this day, it's hard to come to terms with it because I hate how stupid I was. I just felt so stupid that I would stay in a situation and let it continue to get that bad. But, I've come out of it a motivational speaker, being a strong woman, inspiring other women to be strong, and that's pretty much all I got to say to that. Yeah. I feel like, you know, it's only one way to come, and that's the real way. And, you came very real. I mean, but I didn't really talk about the romance, you know. Uh, were y'all always like cool like that? I mean, I don't know what you're trying to ask, Jazz. I know. Just give me some time. Um, you and James. Okay, me and James. Y'all cool and shit. Um, did you when did y'all take it serious? When success was really kicking in, and that's when it started to say, because it's like we were there. I was there when he wasn't a success, and we were there at the worst and at the best, and we felt like that was the fairy tale moment right there. He's successful, number one as far as TV shows, changing the game. Let's get married. Word, word. And the marriage was cool. And when I found out he was on coke, that is one of the signs. You know, And I was so angry at him. I was so mad, because I always told him, don't ever give yourself away. Always just try to be yourself. And I was just so mad that he would stoop to a level so low, because he was always great. You know, you got the gig doing the show because you were you and you're great being yourself. But now you feel all of a sudden an obligation to not be yourself, to be something else in order to get love that's not real love. Wake up, James. Word. And I was mad at him. I couldn't stand him. There was times I would just throw his clothes out all the time. And I remember throwing his clothes out our big ass mansion. you know the neighbors thought we were putting on a show, because they didn't know us as that. This is a time still when people believed that, like XTV, just on TV, that's all they knew us for. You know what I mean? So when they would see me throwing clothes out, they would think we're putting on an act, putting on a show, and they would be clapping, and it would be real serious. Like, no, I want this fucking asshole out of here, and they'll be laughing, clapping, and after a while they'll leave when we're done arguing. But yeah, that's ill, though. That's ill. Yes, it is ill. It's ill in the field. Word. And so anyway, I remember throwing his clothes out, and he'll, sorry, it's still funny to me. He'll, I'll watch him. I'll watch him just shake the dirt off of the clothes and slowly, one by one, put them in a suitcase and, come in the house. I guess he had a spare key, and it was just so cute. It was cute, you know. Oh, what up, Jazz? Yo, Mac Anthony, I should kick your ass for being late, but it's all good. Yo, what's going on, Miss Webb? Hi, how are you? What's up? What's up, yo? I'm great. I'm great. That's what's up. I'm great. You? What's the attitude in this bitch? L shit. Jazz Balls Podcast. There is no attitude. I just what's up? You're just cool. I like you. Yo. But anyway, damn, she want to hit you. Yo, wait a minute. Jazz Balls Podcast. What's going on? She hitting on a nigga, yo. She hitting on a nigga. I am not hitting on you. I am not hitting on you. But we was just talking, Mac, about the abusive relationship with James. Word. I'm already missing shit and different things like that. But anyways, Brandy, what's next? I mean, are you and James still together? Oh, that relationship had to end. Word? Yeah. It had to end. It was so unhealthy. Watching The Real World Season 2, a very legendary show on XTV, of course, watching that, you can see, like, this is not healthy. The only reason I'm sticking around on the show is because he hits me. That's stupid, because he hits me. I'm in love with him. So, it had to be over. Do y'all ever communicate? Because, we talking a marriage that lasted from, 97 to 2007 or 2008? That's a very long time to call it quits. There was actually 98 to, 2010. Wow. And the last time we communicated was 2011 or 2012, when he did the N64 week, and he did very well on it, and I called to congratulate him, and we talked, and we had a great time talking, but other than that, just during the time we were talking, we just knew, just in each other's voices, we didn't even argue, we just knew that it's best the relationship stays like this, um, just kind of brief. And we haven't talked since then, but when we probably do talk, it's going to always be brief because certain emotions and things are brought up that shouldn't be brought up, and arguments ensue. As far as the kids, they're doing pretty good. We don't have a out of control family. We still have a tight bond. I am not surprised that the current success of Vice City, that aired in '07, that was mixed reviews, but now it's, widely acclaimed. I'm not surprised that it. I knew that the time we did Vice City in '07, it was a different era because what we were putting out there was not what was the end thing. The end thing was 90 and F and K and different things like that. But what we were providing was, you know, real family love and a family bond. Even though it had its racism in it, um, what we were doing was not being done. And anytime you come out with something different, of course it's going to be mixed, or if it's very bad it's going to be negative and never known. But if it's very genuine and very real, it has to be appreciated. And that's what we represented with Vice City. It was genuine, it was real, the love we had as far as our family. And still to this day, our family is still great. We still love each other. Just me and James can't talk, or I'll kick him in the nuts. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. It's just real exclusive. That's why I ain't even mad at you, Mac, for coming in late, cause this just some shit we just decided to do. This ain't nothing like, you know, whatever. Damn, nigga, this nigga acting like the Bernie Mac skit where he was acting like the damn retarded girl and he was going, you know what I'm talking about? She was deaf, not retarded. But oops. Yeah, Brandy, that's what I was gonna touch on. The recent success of the Vice City, especially '80s on crack, which people really love. Looking in hindsight now, like what else do you have to say about that shit? Cause it is very big. It beat '90 one time, which is quite a hard defeat. You know what I'm saying? Not many shows can outdo what was the first show on XTV Fuse. You know what I mean? So, what's your thoughts on that? Well, it's like I said. I mean, it's no surprise. It was very real. Not saying '90 was less real. He was very real, and he still is to this date. That's why his podcast is so successful. But the elements that '90 didn't go on, we went on. You know what I mean? We were a view that was not thought about, and we were able to do what we wanted with that view. The TXG era allowed people to really just be themselves, and it was no what you call it. It was no what's the word? Trying to think. The when it's no, when you're not allowed, like we were not treating people like they couldn't come in. I can't think of the word. Everybody was allowed. It was free. You know what I'm saying? And due to that freedom, we were able to do Vice City. And yes, it was racism in there. Yes, it was very dark. But truthfully, when you look at the good parts of it, it's that family element and that bond. And '80s on crack showcases that on a few occasions and some very funny moments. And yeah, the only downside to Vice City, of course, is it's not that many episodes. Due to the mixed reception, we just kind of finally canceled it. And yeah, yeah, go into that. I mean, if you can. They said, I guess it was too mixed for a long time, and it got canceled. It's the same reason House of Ribbits got pulled. Jazz, House of Ribbits was pulled because the second episode on season two did not meet up to the same standard that season two, episode one hit. And, it was just very mixed. And, our show stayed that way for so long, where you had shows like 90, he could come in, do an episode, and it wouldn't be mixed. Or House of Ribbits, or, I mean, not House of Ribbits, but The Real World, or FNK, or whatever. They would just come in and it would be an immediate hit, a critical darling, if you will. But as far as us, we would come in and get mixed, and that was all of our episodes. So it's like, what do you choose? Something that's just going to get mixed reviews, or something that's going to be a immediate hit? Mixed is now negative reviews looking back. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it was. It's like, if you're not positive reviews or better, you're not, we don't care. And that's why Vice City didn't work at the time. House of Ribbits didn't continue after the second episode. A lot of those things that happened. And even though I wasn't a part of House of Ribbits, I understand the logistics of it, because that's what it is. That's what happened. It was just not very popular, because it was just very mixed. And but in hindsight, even though the House of Ribbits is still mixed, our show is better looking back, and it's for this generation. It was before its time, but it was very short lived. Well, this is crazy. I mean, going into more territory. Little 007, your son. Oh, I love him. Word. You got two little 007s. They're like four or five, a bunch of them. It's a whole bunch of sons. I just kept having babies one year. You know how Lil Wayne was dropping a lot of music? That's how I was dropping babies. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't feel my vagina. Word. Was that with Joel Santana? Word. No, it was with James, but you got to understand, when James was on drugs, eventually I did get on drugs. And we were fucking every day. I mean, it was like, damn, we couldn't stop. And as a result, I kept having babies, from twins to Siamese twins. We had so many kids. That's the big thing right there. Go ahead, put your plug. Jasmar's podcast. Me and James have so many children. Little 007 and, all the ones that are in the spotlight, the mainstream ones, if you will, they're there. But there are also a whole bunch of other kids. As a total, I have 50 kids from James. 50 children, and, they aren't bastards or anything. I would tell you all their names, but we have other things to do. This is XTV West Coast. You know how busy we get. So, we just have a lot of children, me and James, and they go on forever. And our kids have had kids. Little 007 has had various children, and it's an army of us. We will never die. That's just it. You know what I mean? So our children are forever. They're precious. They're gorgeous. But Little 007, you asked me about, when he got on drugs, that broke my heart at first. It really destroyed me. But, I looked at what was going on TV. Because you got to understand, too, back in the day, it was easy. I feel like, this is just my opinion, Jazz. I feel like it was easier to keep your children away from the TV, if you will. Like, seeing the bad stories. You know what I mean? For instance, in the 80s, if I was such and such, and I was famous for doing a TV show, and I wasn't able to be around my kids. I would just show my kids my stuff when I'm on TV, when I'm working. They wouldn't see the news stories of whatever controversy I caused. But it got to a point, and I would say in the '90s, where you were popular for what you did outside of what you were known for, and not necessarily for the occupation you were in. Like, I was an actress, but I was not, shown as that. I was shown as, James's wife, and he's crazy as she is, and he's seen that. And I didn't want him to see that, but the talk in the school and all the different things, even though we tried to keep him away from our story, he eventually became a part of the negative side of our story, and he did drugs. And it just broke my heart, because how hard I'm trying to fight for him from seeing that. I don't want him to see that side, but unfortunately he's seen it, and he couldn't block it. And as a result, he did drugs, and he got drunk, and James used to curse him. He used to curse him like no other. He used to say, "James, stop it. Stop it." Because you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean? So what is this? But at the end of the day, there was nothing I could do to control his drug usage. That's what he wanted to do, and he chose it. And, me and James just started making other babies, hoping they didn't grow into what he was becoming. And, it got out of control. 50 kids later, you know what I mean? What's your youngest son? Like, when was the last time y'all had a kid? I would say 2007. Yeah. That's the last time, or '08 actually, '08. He was conceived in '07. We announced it on The Real World. And, that's our youngest son, and that's our last one. That's number 50. But we have so many kids, and like I said, I remember all their names, but this is the Jasmar's podcast, and we got a lot to do. So yeah, man. That's just ill to me, to go with somebody for that long, like, and then end it. You know what I mean? And y'all had abuse and everything, and your son, he got into all these things. That's ill. Yes. But I talk to him every day, and he's definitely sober. He's so fat now; it's so silly. He used to make fun of Jane. He used to make fun of a lot of different people for being fat, when he was younger. And now he's a fat. I'm not going to curse and say he's a fat A like he does, like he did other people. I called him the other day, where yeah, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sitting on my fat A," you know. And so, yeah, he's gotten bigger, but other than that, that's still my precious baby. I don't care what the media does to him. I don't care what he does to himself. I'm still going to see my baby that I held in my hand. It's cute. It's my baby drinking himself a beer. Oh, word. Anything else? You got any questions, Mac? Yeah, Ms. Webb. Where you at with XTV? When like, are you officially done? Like ODD said he was done. Or is there still future? Is there still light at the end of the tunnel? Cause you wrestled in '05. Is that coming again? I wrestled to escape. Truthfully, when I was on Day of Reckoning, that was my way of escaping. James was very abusive. That's why I was screaming Webb, and people were like, "Why is she screaming?" It was from pain. I have a very weird approach of how I'm trying to say, "Help me," and that was my way of doing it, and that's why nobody understood why I was doing whatever. But that's what it was. I was I need help. Help me. somebody see this. But only I could see that I was saying help me, and nobody else. They thought I was just some crazy bitch that, yeah, she's probably abused, but I don't know. She's not telling me enough. But as far as the future in XTV, maybe announcing, you know, maybe that, uh, maybe getting in the rain here and there, or interviewing podcasts, something like that. But anything to not be at the forefront, cause I feel like, it's a dangerous thing to be famous. And my thing is, once you understand what fame is and every single thing about it, uh, once you really learn it, if you still want it, go ahead and get it. But once you really know, you're gonna want to not want it. And this is not no Illuminati talk. This is not conspiracy or nothing. This is a person that's been through it and seen what it does to you and what it drives people to do. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne was not famous for a while, from after doing all his hits. And when the Osbourne show starts popping off and past hits are, relevant during this time period, he's back on drugs. You know what I mean? Fame does that to you. You can be sober, rehab, and all of that, and these demons spark up. It's due to the pressure of fame and all of that. So, me being a strong woman, of course, holding my own, I know what it is with fame. And, it's not that you use drugs to stay relevant or whatever, but I don't know, man. Demons are real, and they are in fame. Well, there you have it. This was another Jasmar exclusive. I know the last one wasn't very successful with Ronald. You know what I mean? But this is just a little something we just decided to do. We in the process of doing this project. And, it's coming out pretty good. It's pretty damn dope. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all like it when we finish with it. But yeah, this has been another Jasmar podcast with Mac Anthony, and I'm late, ain't sleep. Exclusive.